Imagine stepping through a rip in time, Hollywood's golden era colliding head-on with the live stream age. Those luminous faces who shaped classic cinema aren't just memories. They're headline makers, still trading jokes on sets, still rewriting deals, still daring film to keep up. In this countdown, we'll spotlight 20 legends who once defined vintage movies, yet now surf hashtags, NFTs, and streaming wars with the same swagger that once conquered Theater Row. Ready to see how true stardom outruns the credits? Stay tuned and witness history echo through screens again. Bruce Dern refuses to mellow, roaring through late career roles like a desert wind that flays complacency from Hollywood. The lanky icon of vintage grit, who menaced screens during the New Wave's golden age, walked into Sundance 2025 clutching a dog-eared script printed on real 35mm perforated stock. Festival gossip claims he insisted the Western thriller frontier be shot entirely on photochemical film to protect its dust-choked soul, and the gamble paid off. Standing ovation, distribution war, instant cult buzz. Dern later revealed on a Renegade podcast that Marvel had courted him to play a cosmic elder, but he rejected green screen yoga in favor of raw horses and hotter barrels. His voice, acidic with truth, reminded viewers that modern movies sometimes confuse spectacle for substance. Then he winked, promising one last outlaw monologue that will stampede multiplexes before the credits finally roll. True legends never settle. Sophia Loren radiates resilience, the embodiment of Mediterranean fire that once defined classic cinema glamour. At 91, she entered Instagram with elbows up, posting a pasta-making reel that conquered algorithmic peaks and reminded Hollywood newbies that charisma survives ring lights. Italian press leaked word of a Netflix doc titled The Last Diva, charting her rise from war-torn Naples to global movies royalty. Insiders swear she approved only after producers promised real archival film scans instead of digital cleanups that bleach history. Meanwhile, jet-setting rumors place Loren in discreet rehearsals for a cameo opposite Timothée Chalamet, blending vintage allure with viral Gen Z heartthrob energy. Ever playful, she teased followers, "Age is just another costume." Industry analysts note that streaming data spikes whenever her name trends, proving audiences still ache for the golden age heartbeat. Her smile effortlessly restarts. Audiences crave her timeless glow after midnight showings. Dick Van Dyke defies time like a prank the universe can't undo. The Hollywood song and dance marvel who lit up television's golden era now pops up on TikTok, tapping across his driveway with the same buoyant rhythm that once enchanted classic audiences. Rumor circles that Disney has quietly inked him for a cameo in Mary Poppins 3, a wink to the vintage chimney sweep who swept up Oscar buzz decades ago. Insiders claim the nonagenarian demanded practical sets, insisting real soot over pixels to protect the soul of cinema. Meanwhile, a leaked Zoom screenshot shows Van Dyke pitching a new variety, special mixing live jazz, archival film clips, and interactive fan duets, proof he's still inventing ways to make movies feel like living room magic. Age might have stolen minutes, but it never stole his mischief, and audiences keep cheering for encore miracles. Connie Stevens proved in Manila that octaves age like fine mahogany. The vintage songbird sold out an arena, belting 16 Reasons with a swagger that shamed auto-tuned newbies. Back in Hollywood, producers court her for Seniors of Sunset, a reality series promising unfiltered diva diplomacy amid satin robes and black and white film clips. Stevens, 86, negotiates fiercely. She wants creative control, plus a segment where she restores classic cinema props rescued from studio dumpsters. Insiders whisper she also pitched a spin-off podcast dissecting lost movies. Stories about broken cameras, vanished scores, and secret romance notes scribbled on clapperboards. Meanwhile, she auctioned signature pink convertibles as NFTs, funneling proceeds into scholarships for underrepresented women filmmakers. Social media numbers spiked after she live-streamed vocal warm-ups, demonstrating that Golden Age technique still slices through algorithm clutter. Her mantra rings clear. Timeless lungs, limitless direction, encore pending for reinvented star power. Shirley Eaton, forever immortalized in 24-karat body paint, has discovered alchemy in reinvention. At 88, she's launching a luxury skincare line called Gold Standard. It's vegan shimmer promising a touch of classic Bond glamour without the toxic alloys. The rollout video mirrors vintage fragrance ads, shot on grainy 35mm film and scored by lush cinema strings to trigger nostalgia receptors. Eaton also negotiated a blink and you'll miss it cameo for Bond 26, filmed under such secrecy that even studio execs joke they need MI6 clearance to watch dailies. Rumor says she'll appear as a museum curator debating the ethics of weaponized art, a meta-nod to her gilded past. Meanwhile, Fashion Archives invite her to curate a traveling exhibit on metallic couture in movies, placing her alongside C-3PO and Oscar statuettes. The Golden Girl, who once symbolized lethal seduction, now markets timeless preservation, proof Hollywood legends can polish new icons without losing shine. George Hamilton's tan is as trademarked as any superhero logo, and in 2025, that bronze glow funds a new crusade. The eternal playboy of vintage Hollywood has launched a plant-based sunstick promising golden-era SPF without reef-killing chemicals. The first drop sold out in under 3 hours. California legislators joked about a dark tan tax to curb reckless UV worship, and Hamilton volunteered to testify, under oath naturally, arguing that shade, style, and science can coexist. He's also shopping a memoir, Too Much Sun for One Man, featuring AR pages overlaying beach selfies with early film clips. Gossip blogs say he'll cameo as himself in an A24 satire about influencers, cementing his status as bronzed oracle to a generation that streams movies poolside. When the spotlight fades, Hamilton simply pivots toward the nearest sunrise and keeps glowing, for good. Jamie Farr flipped the internet's script when, at 91, he herded the surviving MASH crew onto Twitch for a marathon charity stream, proving classic television can still outtrend modern shooters. Over 3 million viewers spammed salute emojis as Farr flashed vintage wardrobe relics from Hollywood prop vaults. The buzz detonated a petition demanding Klinger's cameo in Deadpool 3. Marvel insiders confirmed serious talks, eager to fuse golden-era satire with fourth-wall anarchy. Between donation goals, Farr teased a memoir podcast layering archival film audio over new punchlines, promising War Stories Disney Plus wouldn't dare stream. Rumor adds he's pitching a mobile game where players dodge KP duty in heels to Gen Z developers. Whether or not the cameo lands, charisma marches on. Expect one more salute from Corporal Klinger before the end credits roll worldwide, for fans craving one last nostalgic blast online. Robert Redford retired, then reneged. The Sundance Patriarch, avatar of thoughtful cinema, has been scouting Utah mesas for a guerrilla comeback feature shot entirely on solar-powered rigs. Friends insist the 88-year-old wants to prove sustainable Hollywood isn't an oxymoron, demanding film stock processed with recycled chemicals and crew meals from local farms. Trade papers call the project Butch and the Sun, a wink at his classic outlaw legacy. After a surprise COP29 appearance, rumors spiked about a parallel documentary exposing carbon-heavy blockbusters. Shunning press junkets, he releases cryptic voice memos about landscapes that remember hoofbeats better than drones. Streamers are already bidding, eager to introduce his golden age gravitas to viewers who only know him through Granddad's Blu-ray shelf. If it lands, Redford may reboot the notion that art and activism ride the same horse, never walking quietly into fade out. Brigitte Bardot once ignited cinema screens with smoldering glances that helped define Hollywood's parallel golden age on the Riviera, and at 91, she still orchestrates headlines from her sun-soaked Saint-Tropez refuge. Paparazzi drones hover, hoping to catch the vintage bombshell stepping onto her balcony, yet Bardot keeps them guessing by posting cryptic animal rights rants that trend harder than many new movies. French tabloids now report she quietly negotiated the sale of her unfinished memoir's film rights, sparking speculation about a bilingual streaming series charting her whirlwind romances and controversial activism. Insiders whisper Bardot wants casting approval, insisting no sterile algorithm can recreate rebellious glamour. Meanwhile, a leaked podcast clip hints she'll publicly address rumors of a hidden Picasso portrait once gifted and supposedly lost. Whether scandal or myth, every tease reminds audiences why true classic allure refuses to retire. It merely reclines and rewrites the rules. Julie Newmar, the statuesque mischief maker who originated Catwoman's purr, still prowls innovation's rooftops. 92 and unbowed, she partnered with a VR studio to scan her iconic 1966 catsuit, crafting a playable skin that lets gamers claw through neon skylines while listening to her silky tutorial voiceovers. The collaboration debuted during a Comic-Con Classic Cinema panel where she stole focus from actors one quarter her age. Newmar is also co-authoring a coffee table book titled Felines and Femmes, blending personal Polaroids, behind-the-scenes film frames, and essays on feminine archetypes in movies since the Golden Age. Public libraries have already pre-ordered in bulk. She cheekily teases a cameo in The Batman 3, contingent on practical makeup. No rubber masks that smell like salad bars. By weaving playful futurism with unapologetically vintage aesthetics, Julie proves that when charisma stretches, it never snaps. It simply wraps around tomorrow's hologram with yesterday's velvet claws in Hollywood shine. Shirley MacLaine has never met a cosmic rabbit hole she won't investigate, and at 91, her curiosity now beams directly into earbuds worldwide. The classic Oscar winner surprised fans with Infinite Backlot, a podcast mixing reincarnation confessions, backstage Hollywood bombshells, and monk-like musings on the cyclical nature of cinema. Episode 1 rocketed to the top charts after she teased an Area 51 visit purely for research. Skeptics scoffed. Merchandise sold out. MacLaine promises a future segment in which she channels dialogue from her younger self while screening vintage film clips for a live audience. Studios eye the recordings for AR licensing, letting users sit beside her astral projection during famous movies. Whether mystic or marketing genius, she remains the only star who can segue from Shirley Temple anecdotes to quantum entanglement without losing the room, or the ratings around the globe. Frankie Avalon, the perpetual beach party heartthrob, keeps proving that surfboards never go out of style, even when Hollywood trades celluloid for algorithms. At 85, he stunned a Vegas crowd by crooning Venus beside a deepfake hologram of his 1959 self, merging classic nostalgia with cutting-edge tech that both dazzles fans and worries copyright lawyers. The stunt reignited debate over whether movies should resurrect youthful avatars or let wrinkles write the sequel. Avalon, ever the showman, teased a cross-generational tour where live musicians jam alongside curated clips from vintage cinema musicals, projected through immersive LED stages that smell faintly of coconut oil and summer rebellion. Behind the sparkle, industry insiders whisper about a potential class action over AI royalties, a fight that could redefine how golden-era performers monetize their digital shadows. Until verdicts drop, Avalon rides the sonic wave, proving charisma ages like well-played surf wax, forever sun-kissed and timeless. Cliff Richard's career is the vinyl that refuses to crackle. The evergreen crooner of British golden-era pop just sold out his 2025 Still the Young One World Tour in under 10 minutes, sparking headlines across Hollywood trades that rarely track veteran UK icons. At 85, he's doubling down on tech, licensing his early vintage masters for immersive Dolby Atmos remasters while greenlighting an AI duet that pits his youthful 1960 voice against today's seasoned vibrato. Purists grumble, yet TikTok spins leap when clips blend classic sock hop charm with neon club bass. A documentary team is following every rehearsal, promising candid confessions about faith, fame, and the infamous BBC investigation that once shadowed him. Cliff insists on filming real 16mm film interludes to remind kids these weren't just YouTube shorts. Between lawsuits over the Elvis mashup and record charitable donations, Sir Cliff keeps proving movies never monopolized charisma. Sometimes it belts straight from a stage. Maggie Smith, the sharp-tongued grand dame of classic cinema, still hushes a room with one arched eyebrow, and at 91 she wields that power across screens big and small. Insiders swear she filmed a top-secret cameo for a Downton Abbey prequel, guarded by NDAs thicker than castle walls. Forums erupted when tabloids revealed Smith declined an elevated damehood, preferring afternoons reading vintage fairy tales to her growing brood of great-grandchildren. London theaters raced to mount a one-woman show drawn from her acerbic letters about early Hollywood, but she'll sign only if the run is carbon neutral and profits rescue shuttered repertory houses. Streaming giants counter with an AI-guided masterclass titled The Look That Levels Kingdoms. She smiles, undecided. Whether on stage, set, or tablet, her deliberate pause reminds modern movies that subtlety can thunder. For fans old and new across every generation she touches today, James Fox embodies genteel mystery, the type of classic actor who could sip tea while detonating plot twists. Although the Kensington native stormed the movies of the 60s with icy charm, his real-life sequel is unfolding in 2025's buzzier, algorithmic Hollywood. Fox recently mentored rising talent on an indie Sherlock reboot, guiding them through fog-washed London sets that honor vintage cinema rather than CGI shortcuts. Quiet charity work in war-torn Ukraine has insiders predicting a late-life knighthood, yet Fox jokes he'd prefer a good script over a sword. Rumors swirl that he's negotiating cameo rights contingent on scenes shot entirely on physical film, defying digital dominance. Meanwhile, gossip pages link him to a secret royal ancestry podcast. Part genealogy dive, part scandal tease. When a gentleman moves like that, the audience leans closer, unsure whether the next revelation will whisper decorum or detonate intrigue worldwide tonight. Dolores Hart once kissed Elvis on screen, then shocked Hollywood by trading box office heat for a Benedictine habit, making her a legend of both movies and monasteries. Today, the 86-year-old abbess commands a global flock through weekly live-stream Q&As where faith meets vintage cinema trivia, proving charisma survives even behind convent walls. Vatican insiders hint that producers pitched a biopic starring Millie Bobby Brown, blending classic star power with Gen Z relatability. Hart reportedly agreed on two conditions: authentic 35mm film stock and a choir cameo for her fellow nuns. Meanwhile, rumors swirl of her advising an A-list actress wrestling with spiritual burnout, sparking renewed debate about fame's psychic toll. Social media clips of Mother Dolores laughing about red carpet memories have already clocked millions of views, reminding newcomers that belief and glamour can share one radiant spotlight when guided by a steadfast, luminous heart for generations to cherish. Pat Boone may have sold millions singing sanitized rock, yet in 2025 he's remixing Reputation with blockchain bravado that even jaded Hollywood moguls envy. The 91-year-old unveiled a surprise NFT collection featuring digitized sheet music from the golden era of film soundtracks, earning six-figure bids before skeptics finished Googling crypto wallet. Boone's grandchildren leaked screenshots of the transaction, igniting debates about whether vintage icons should monetize nostalgia or gift it to fans. Unfazed, he teased a charity duet with Olivia Rodrigo, bridging classic cinema crooner smoothness and Gen Z heartbreak anthems. Insiders say he's negotiating a VR concert that stitches his 1960s movies footage into a 360-degree chapel, complete with digital choir loft. Critics scoffed, until Boone tweeted a bass-boosted remix of Love Letters in the Sand, instantly trending worldwide. Apparently, righteousness can crunch numbers and still keep perfect pitch across screens, speakers, and crypto ledgers alike. Margaret O'Brien, once the teary-eyed wonder who stole wartime hearts in classic MGM musicals, now wields imagination like a lightsaber in the crowded halls of 2025 geek culture. At 88, she's publishing YA ghost stories that weave forgotten Hollywood backlots into neon futures, earning starred reviews and a Hulu development deal. Reddit sleuths claim she filmed a hush-hush cameo for the Stranger Things finale as Grandma Tootie, a sly nod to her golden-era role in Meet Me in St. Louis. Producers refuse comment, fueling meme storms. Industry whispers add that O'Brien personally requested practical sets over CGI to preserve that tactile vintage cinema vibe modern movies often skip. Meanwhile, her TikTok readings, complete with theatrical lighting and preserved 16mm film clips, prove nostalgia can haunt new screens with warmth instead of cobwebs. Fans call her magic. She simply calls it practice for the encore generation. Hampton Fancher, the renegade writer who gave Blade Runner its neon melancholy, remains a firebrand against algorithmic storytelling. Now 86, he secretly script-doctored a streaming prequel series, but then unleashed a viral X thread condemning studios for letting AI bleach imagination like cheap detergent. Hollywood execs swallowed criticism because no one else evokes classic noir dread with such lyrical brutality. Fancher insists the series retain analog tech, Projectors purr inside sets, and actors rehearse with real typewriters to capture tactile despair. Leaked call sheets reveal he spliced unused vintage storyboard panels from the 1982 film into new episode storylines, creating Easter eggs only die-hard cinema scholars will decode. Meanwhile, he's developing a micro-budget thriller about poets in Mars orbit, filmed mostly in 16mm to keep cosmic dust in the gate. Fancher's mantra endures, movies should bruise, not scroll, and the future, however digital, still needs bruisers. Richard Beymer, forever remembered as Tony from classic cinema treasure West Side Story, now frames reality through a different lens, literally. At 85, he unveiled an exhibition of abstract iPhone 16 Ultra photographs, each print layered with translucent scans of his 1960s contact sheets, blurring film grain and 8K clarity into hypnotic collage. Critics call it augmented nostalgia, a term that thrills Beymer more than any belated Oscar. Streaming Buzz claims Spielberg has tapped him for a limited series sequel exploring Tony's alternate fate, shooting partly on real New York rooftops to echo golden-era musicals while juxtaposing drone-captured vistas. Beymer requested rehearsal time with street dancers to absorb kinetic youth energy, ensuring his cameo feels lived in, not museum-staged. Concurrently, he's beta testing a meditation app that pairs breathing cues with lullabies from vintage Hollywood soundtracks. Whether behind a camera or inside a headset, Beymer proves movies age, but artistry evolves, restlessly chasing fresh skylines beyond fading spotlights.